Hey everyone. So in this video, we're going to create a new project and load it up with some samples and sounds. And it's basically how you get going in the Digitac when you just want a fresh start. So let's get started and create a new project to work on. So I'm going to go to the settings menu and go to project. In manage projects, if we click in there, here is my list of projects. And so we're going to create a new one in slot 10. So we'll click initiate new. And notice it says new project. Let's give it a different name. So we're going to rename it. And it says down here some different ways that you can use the keyboard. But what I find best, if you hold down function and press no, it deletes the whole thing. And you could just kind of scroll up through letters like this. But honestly, I think an easier way to do it is to press function. And then whatever letter you go to, when you let go, it shows up there. So after a little bit of practice, you can actually go really quickly. There we go, Braintree 5.6. So I'm just going to call that my project. So there it is. And when you go back, it should say Braintree 5.6. So then you would actually have to load it. Another way you could do it is go to load project, click yes. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can create new, say presets before loading. I don't need to do that. So it initializes a new project. Success. But then you have to go to this menu to name it. So that's kind of why I go to the other one first. All right, so now we're all loaded up with our new project. If we go here, it's untitled. I like to name these right at the beginning. You can always change them later, but I'm going to do it right now. So I'm going to name my pattern. Let's rename it to demo. But whenever you initiate a pattern, this is the drum set that gets loaded up. It's the digital drum set. And it actually sounds really great, but that's what it is. There's no parameters, so those aren't technically sounds, they're samples in the Electron world. You have 8 audio tracks, 8 MIDI tracks. So on these audio tracks, we're probably going to want to load up some samples or load up some sounds that we can use on our pattern. And there's a variety of different ways you could do this. Let's go through a couple of them. So I'm actually going to leave most of these here. The ones, that cowbell, I never really used the cowbell. So let's replace that with something. So we're in the source page. And up here is where the samples are. So if we scroll down here, notice it's empty now. So we have to put some samples in that slot. So let's go to our settings menu. And go up to samples. Now here, you can scroll down through all of your samples. Let me go to the first page. There's factory or incoming factory. If we go to our factory samples, let's put in a synth sound in there. Go to analog notes and you can pick out something. Let's see. That one's good. So I'm going to highlight it and then we'll put load to project. Yes, confirm. So Franck is the one that we just loaded. And if we go back to our menu here, it's loaded in sample 9. And it just happened to be because I had already selected sample 9. But you could go in and load up tons of different samples for you to play around with. Just pick a whole bunch of them. But so this is just a sample right now. It's not technically a sound. A sound in the Electron world is where the sample is a sample that has a whole bunch of parameters set on it. And we can actually choose from some sounds that are preloaded on the Digitakt as well. And to do that, we hold down Function and we can go to the sound browser right here. I mean, that's a great bass sound here. That's a great bass sound. I really like that one. And let's see. So we just loaded it right here. Now, if we look at what that sample is called, it's called Acid Square. So let's load up something else. So I'm going to go back to the sound browser and oh, that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and load that one up. And I'm going to adjust the filter on this. Oops, I keep hitting the button. Just going to dial in some effects. And then if we go to the global reverb, let's turn that up. All right, let's just try and record something real quick. So there's a few different record modes. I'll go through them eventually. Right now, we're just going to do the grid recording. So if you hit record, you can pick your track, then hit record, and tell where you want things to be. Let's go to track number 2. So let's make this a little bit more interesting. All right, I'm kind of getting carried away here because it's just too much fun, but all right, that was awesome. I got really carried away. I was only going to do something brief, but it's just so hard to get unstuck from some of those things. But so let's go back to the beginning. It's totally in the zone there. And we're going to save our project now. So there again, there's a whole bunch of different ways you could do this. You could go into the project and do save project as, and then you could even save it to a totally different area. But let's just go ahead and click function, and then the settings thing you can see in yellow there is save project. So it says save all patterns and project settings. We're going to click yes, and Braintree 56 is now saved. So what's cool about that too is if we look at our projects, let's say I really liked those settings and I wanted to create a whole new track with the same sounds and samples set up that way, but maybe just change a few things. You could go to the save project as, click yes, and like let's just do a new one and we'll save it there. And we'll call it Braintree 56, number 2. And we're going to save it there. So now if you go to manage settings, you have those two saved there. And that's a great way also if you want to set up some template files or template kits or something like that, you can just save it to set it up and then go ahead and save it to a new project and call it the template project or something like that. And that way you can just, copy and paste it and create a new project. So I hope that gives you some understanding of how you can just start something from scratch and make something cool, and gives you a few tricks to use along the way. I'm going to get into much more detail about all the parameter locks and how to use the sequencer in the next video. There's a bunch of different ways for recording, and we're going to go through all of those. So if you want to learn more, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Once again, thanks again to Perfect Circuit for sponsoring this video series, and I'll see you next time.